Hey Mountain students, welcome to Students Groups. My name is Owen and I am a junior.
My name is Gracious and I am a sophomore, and whether you're joining us in person or online, we're so glad you're here.
Boo!
Owen, why would you do that? What was the point?
I don't know, it just kind of seemed fun and it seemed a little bit on
He's a
topic.
funny dude.
Yeah, I thought it was
He's a
funny
dude.
and it was super on topic too, seeing that today we're talking about our fears, you know?
Yeah, what are you scared of, Owen? What makes you,
Okay,
build up
I'm
inside?
not gonna lie, this is a little embarrassing, but I am honestly afraid of roller coasters. I had this crazy
Classic.
experience when I was like 10. No, never again. Never again. I will never get on a roller coaster.
For me, I would say I'm probably scared of stray cats.
What?
Stray cats, I just can't, no. But like when I warm up to animals, I'm like super like chill, like I love dogs. I want a German Shepherd, but
Like the little furry thing that's like
yeah,
this tall?
No,
Those are puntable.
no thanks.
Like you could toss those.
Probably, but they could probably toss me, so. I'm just not with it.
Okay. I mean, hey, I guess we all have a couple of those weird fears, you know?
Yeah.
I think we're gonna talk some more fear today with our amazing speaker, Jake. Jake, where is he? Is he
Right
over
here.
Oh. Woo! Okay, speaking of fear, man, you gotta stop doing that.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to sneak
Heart
up on you there.
palpitations.
You're really gonna freak me out. I swear, that's not okay.
So, Jake, you kind of seem like a guy who's easy to scare.
I don't know if that's a compliment or not, but I'm not going to take it as one. So.
I think it'd be more kind of like a freeze guy, you know, or kind of like a flight guy, just kind of run. I don't really think you fight that much.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about
Our
you being a
game
cowboy.
today, which
our game
is
today.
fight, flight, or freeze. So basically how it works is there's going to be a scenario that pops up on the screen and you have to decide whether you would run, which is flight, fight, or freeze in the scenario and explain why.
Okay, I just know already I'm going to win. Last game I said I was going to win. I ended up drinking hot chocolate, but this game, it's a comeback. I'm winning.
You don't win this game, but
I'm winning.
but
definitely
I'm
gonna win
rooting
this.
for you.
Thank you.
For
You see, I
sure.
have someone in my corner this time. I'm excited. Finally gonna have someone in my corner. Parents, I'm talking to you. Okay, so fight, flight, or freeze.
Okay, let's
go
get
ahead.
started. Get
Get
hype.
started.
Okay. So a wasp flies onto your phone screen. Do you fight, flight, or freeze?
Oh, definitely fight. You can just smack it. Like, what's that wasp going to do to me? It's
Oh, I'm
tiny.
freezing, dude. I'm allergic.
Can
that
you
thing
do
could literally kill me.
50-50?
Okay, yeah.
That thing could literally
you
kill
might
me.
just want to flight on that
I would
one.
just, I would die. I would just fall over and die.
I do both. I do all three,
I
actually.
don't care if it's a murder
final
hornet.
verdict.
I'm just smacking it.
You run into this dog in an alley, okay? 100% I'm running. It's not even a question. It's fight, flight, freeze. It's gonna be flight for me.
This is going to sound a lot worse than I mean it to, but every time someone says they're attacked by a dog, like, why don't you just kick it? And I know it's a dog, but like, it's way smaller than me. Like, I can fight a dog. Like, it's not stronger than me. Like, I'm like a human. Like, what?
No,
I don't kick dogs. Let the students be known.
Disclaimer,
I don't kick
guys.
dogs, but if it's attacking me,
You encounter this group of geese at your local park. I think freeze, because I'm not really, I mean, they're just chilling, you know, they're vibing. I'm doing my thing, they're doing their thing, so, you know.
yeah, I'm running. This is totally flight. A group of geese, a whole group of them. I can't fight like 20 geese. That's a lot.
But why?
You can kick them all.
Geese are like mean. Like, you ever like been attacked by geese, or like they like come at you? They're mean.
Yes, kick the dog, run away from the bird. That makes tons of sense. Rapid dog, huge teeth. No, I'm gonna just kick it. But if a goose comes at you, I'm running. Oh, jeez.
You open the lid to the toilet and see a snake slithering up the drain. I'm running. No questions. No.
Yeah, I think I'm running too. I don't want to mess with a snake that was able to get in the toilet. Like, where did it come from?
Am I the only one that never looks at the toilet? Like, I just sit down, like, what? I've never...
That's a wild move.
Yeah, you're kind of bold for
don't
that.
look down.
That might be the most
Just a
wild thing that's
little.
been said so far.
So I probably wouldn't even notice it until it, like, bit me. So I'm not... I don't really know. I just screamed there, I think. I think that's the only thing I could do.
And I think that's all we have for this game. So,
Well, apparently Jake likes to kick dogs,
Yeah.
run from birds.
lesson learned.
That's what we've learned.
Hide
from
your
this.
dogs, guys.
You're just such a mean guy. Such a mean guy. Just likes to kick dogs everywhere he goes. Thanks for playing the game with us, guys.
Yeah, that was fun.
Now I think we're gonna go ahead and jump in Jake's sermon
Yeah.
about fear, which apparently the dog should be afraid of him. We're gonna go ahead, jump in that, and get ready for the sermon. Thanks, guys.
Hey guys, I'm so excited to be with you all this week and continue the series where we're talking about how our moods and our emotions affect how we act. And this week we're going to specifically be talking about our fear. Now, fear is something that we all have, and you have probably felt it before you can even remember experiencing it. I know for me, one of the first times I really remembered fear as a kid was at the pool. And I don't know about you guys when you were little, but as a little kid for me, I always thought that there was gonna be a shark in the pool. And especially in the deep end, you know, where you couldn't see and it's super dark, I always had that fear. I know, feel free to judge me on it. I know it's kind of a crazy fear. And now, of course, I'm kind of over it because I realize it's so irrational, but as a little kid, that fear was very real to me. And we're all probably scared of things as kids that as we've grown up, we know aren't that scary. But now that we're a little older, I think we probably all have new and bigger things that are more serious that we might be afraid of. Some of our fears are really common, things like speaking in public, or snakes, or spiders. Regardless of what we're scared of, we all have something in common, and that's we all experience fear at some point in our lives. For some of you, fear is a really big deal. You think about the things you're afraid of a lot. It may be the only thing you actually think about, but for other of you, fear isn't really something that you think about very often. Sure, you might be worried about the things in your life, but the minute fear creeps in, you just kind of push it aside and don't think about it anymore. But no matter how you manage that fear, what's interesting is that our imagination seems to play a big part in experiencing that fear. The stuff we're usually the most afraid of is the stuff we imagine might happen to us. The stuff we imagine will be said about us if we do something. The stuff we can't control or don't see coming. Or maybe we just don't know how to handle it if it does come. The stuff that we truly can only imagine in our own head. And when we let fear take over our minds and motivate our thoughts, it leads our imagination down a path of endless what-ifs. Like, what if I never have the friends I want? What if my parents get divorced? What if God isn't actually even real? What if I fail my class? What if we have to move somewhere else? What if my dad loses his job? What if I don't make that team I've been trying so hard to make? Or what if I never really feel any different than the way I feel right now? Fear takes us down a path of endless worry. It gets our imaginations going about the things that could be or might be or we hope will never be. It takes over our thinking. This past summer, I went to Ocean City with my girlfriend Haley for a day off, just to get away and enjoy some sun on a day off. And the day started off pretty normal for me. I was having a great time. I had woken up a little fatigued, but that had been about normal for me for about a week at that point. And as the day went on, I started to feel this deep pressure in my chest and this unexplainable feeling of fear in the back of my head. It got so bad that we had to actually leave the beach, and I laid down in my truck as Haley went inside Wawa to get some cold water just to try and make me feel a little bit better. My mind started to race. I started to go down this rabbit hole of worry and started to think about all the possible things that could be wrong with me and why I was unexplainably feeling this way. And the whole time this is happening, Haley is continually telling me she thinks I'm experiencing anxiety and having a panic attack. I kept denying it because that wasn't something I had experienced before and never really thought of. And because of that, I kept allowing my mind to worry more and more about what was wrong with me as I continued to feel worse and worse. At this point, the pressure on my chest felt like an unbearable pain. My heart was starting to race, and I felt like I was going to pass out. And finally, as I sat outside the Patient First in Ocean City, just about to go in, and after about the 10th argument with Haley on what was wrong with me, I accepted I was having a panic attack. I let my mind stop thinking about that the worst thing possible was wrong with me, and the symptoms started to subside. I started to feel a little bit better. And here's the thing, fear is natural. It's real. It was real for me in that day in Ocean City, and we all experience it no matter what age we are. I'm not here to tell you that you should never be afraid of anything, because honestly, there's a lot of stuff to be afraid of, especially in the middle of a worldwide pandemic. And fear can be helpful sometimes because it helps us avoid or be cautious about things that could hurt us. The issue is when fear takes over, when it begins to control our thoughts and causes our worry to warp into anxiety, when it becomes the boss of our actions, our thoughts, and our life, that's when we need to figure out a new way to face it. The good news for us is that Jesus had a lot to say about our fear. So today I want to look at a passage where Jesus talks to some of his close friends, the disciples, about that fear. While on earth, Jesus spent most of his time with a group of 12 people. Those were the disciples. His closest followers at the time, because they spent so much time with Jesus, they saw him do some pretty amazing things. They saw him heal the sick, they saw him forgive sins and do miracles. And even though they witnessed all of that, they still experienced fear. So let's take a look at what Matthew, one of those 12, wrote about the life and ministry of Jesus. He says, "Then he got onto the boat," that's Jesus, "and his disciples followed him. And suddenly, a furious storm came up on the lake, so that the waves swept over the boat, but Jesus was sleeping." Now, when I read the Bible, I like to put myself in the pages. So imagine this, you're in a small boat in the middle of the water, and without warning, a huge storm shows up. You got waves crashing against the boat. Some are so high that they're coming into the boat. And as the waves throw around the boat, the thunder clashes. The wind whips you around. This isn't exactly a relaxing cruise that we're talking about here. Unless you're, of course, Jesus, who, as we just read, is sleeping during this. Can you imagine? The disciples are scared out of their minds. Frankly, they're just scared for their lives. And their fearless leader was asleep in the back of the boat. The disciples panicked and ran over to wake him up and say this, "Lord, save us. We're going to drown." The disciples are frustrated. They feel alone, and most of all, they're just scared. They want their leader to rescue them, and he is sleeping. And look at what Jesus says next, because this part always makes me laugh just a little, because he says this, "You of little faith, why are you so afraid?" I'm not sure what the disciples' immediate reaction was, but I can just imagine them looking around in shock after Jesus asked them that. After he asked them, "Why are you so afraid?" I mean, come on, what do you mean, why, Jesus? Water is pouring in, wind is tossing our boat around like a toy, and you're asking, why are we afraid? It seems like a crazy question for Jesus to respond with at the time. And I obviously can't be certain because I wasn't there, but I don't think Jesus asked them this to shame them for their fear, or even judge them for their lack of faith. No, I think he was trying to show them that with Jesus, they don't need to fear. I just told you that this was the group that had seen Jesus perform miracles. They had seen him overcome the impossible. So why were they worried for their life because of a storm that wasn't even big enough to wake Jesus up? Having Jesus changes everything. If the creator of the world is not filled with the fear because of something, then neither should we be. See, because of Jesus, fear doesn't have to be the boss of you. While we may not ever be physically tossed around in a storm on the ocean, sometimes our fear feels a little bit like that, doesn't it? Fear comes when we feel out of control, but the truth is that when we're out of control, Jesus is still in control. We can trust him when we're in the middle of the storm. Will we have reasons to be afraid in life still? Yes, I'm not saying that having Jesus in our lives means we'll never fear again. What I'm saying is that Jesus gets us through the fear. He is with us in the fear, but the fear never scares him. So what do we do with our fears? The next times we're faced with something to be scared of, what do we do? Well, take a look at one more scripture with me for an answer. It says this, "Cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you." What I love about this verse is that it was written by Peter, a disciple of Jesus, who was on that very boat in the middle of the storm. So when Peter wrote this, he wrote from experience. He knew what it was like to experience fear. but he also knew what it was like to hand that fear over to Jesus. When Peter said cast, he meant throw, hurl, or heave, and these are active words. That means this won't happen by accident for us. When you feel fear, you have to choose to take it and throw it to Jesus. You have to take the step towards Jesus and surrender the worry and stress that is causing the fear. I know what you're thinking right now. You're probably thinking, sure, Jake, that sounds great. But I don't even know what that looks like. How am I even supposed to take my fear and throw it at Jesus and give it over to him? And you can simply just start by praying. Talk to God about what is causing the fear in you. Really tell him what concerns you. We can then ask him to be present with us during our fear. But most importantly, we can focus on who Jesus is. The same man who healed the sick, made the blind see, and then died on the cross just to come back 3 days later is the same man who is our fear with us. So this week, that's where I want you to start. Think about what fears you're facing right now, big or small. They all matter here. Write them down, say them aloud, put some words to what you're feeling. Really think about it. And then one by one, take them to Jesus. Throw them over to him. Ask him to help you have the faith that he's in control. Pray that he'll be with you in the middle of your storm. Give your fears to him and ask him to walk you through them. Fear doesn't have to control us when we have Jesus who can overcome it. And maybe you need a little help tonight talking about it or even identifying it. Maybe you need someone to encourage you or help you trust that Jesus is in the middle of your fear. Well, the good news is that's exactly what your student group is for. They're here to help you walk through those circumstances or situations that might be causing you to fear. They're here to remind you that even if your circumstances don't change, you can walk through them with confidence and faith in who Jesus is and that he is in control of it all. So as you head to your students group today, start to think about this question. How do I usually respond to fear? No matter what your answer is tonight, we can all strive for our answer to just be, I trust in Jesus. All right, let's pray. Dear God, we just want to thank you for this time. We want to thank you for being a God who is with us in our storms, who never has to take away the fear, but gives us the confidence that he is with us in the fear. And we thank you for a community like students groups where we can just be open about that fear and honest with what is worrying us, and then bring that to you through that. In Jesus' name, amen.
So basically in 6th grade, I was diagnosed with scoliosis on my 12th birthday. I went in for a normal checkup, you do your yearly checkups. And I didn't expect to go in and be diagnosed with scoliosis. A lot of people don't know what it is, but basically it's a curvature of your spine. You never really think that your spine's curved. I felt empty. Like everything he was saying was going in one ear, not the other. I was like, what are you saying? Like what? I just couldn't believe it. I was like, why is this happening to me? What is this? What's going to happen? Because we never expected the fact that I would need surgery. You never really, and the one thing is you never really think about your spine. You never, it's there. You don't think it's going to be curved, So I guess I just felt super empty and scared, super, saddened because I wouldn't be able to dance again really. And dance was my main outlet. It was my main thing. I had done it for 9-10 years. So at the time, my curves were fairly small. They weren't super big. They were about under 20 degrees, and now they're above that. But so once it progressed on, they went to the 30s and the 40s. Now here, junior in high school. My back is very bad. We just went for an appointment on Tuesday. He was like, oh, there's nothing we can really do. He said, I'm not sure what to do with you. He was like, I don't even know what to do. You're in so much pain. We've tried physical therapy. We've tried strength training. We've tried creams. We've tried medicine. Nothing's helping with the pain. And then he was like, oh, do you want to do x-rays today and just check and see if it even moved? He even said, oh, it shouldn't move 1 degree a year. Your curve isn't like that. Comes in and his tone completely changed and he was like, well, pulls out the x-ray, the curve had changed 3 degrees in 5 months. So 2021 sometime, I'll be having back fusion. Right now, I'm not super scared, but the after is pretty scary. That recovery time is years. You know, I won't be able to move the same way. My life will be completely different. I'll be a lollipop, like he said. He said I'm gonna look like a lollipop. I won't be able to have the same job like, you know, some people would. I can't even have a job right now because my back is so messed up. I won't be able to have a normal college experience, normal high school experience. Looking for the future, it's scary. And I'm more scared of that big change. After we came to Mountain, August, was it 29th? Of 2019, me and my mom got baptized. If I wouldn't have done that, I don't think I would either even be here, like, you know, physically, or I don't know, I would just given up on everything. Knowing that I have a great doctor, knowing that God's by my side to help me heal, knowing I have a good support group, family, friends, small group, I guess that kind of does bring me peace, because I have this one friend who said she's gonna be with me every minute when I'm recovering at home. Hopefully she is. And I know a lot of other people are. So I definitely feel like I have a great support group that will be there for me. The main thing I've learned is that God uses your experiences in your life. He uses certain people, certain situations for a certain reason. He will use them on later on in your life. I've already seen that compared to the past 5 years. He's used certain things to teach me lessons, to teach other people lessons about how he's going to use you in the future.